Welcome to another episode of Let There Be Rock. This is Let There Be Rock episode 12, Guitar Rock. When we talk about guitar rock, we're almost always talking about that music of the 1970s and 1980s, with the screaming guitar riffs, the lead guitars that were soaring up into the air. But you can't get there if you don't start somewhere. So we're going to begin our discussion of guitar rock by going back to the very beginning. We're going to go back to someone we visited in the blues section. This is Robert Johnson from 1936, playing in the Delta style on his slide guitar with the first song that I'm going to call rock and roll, and the first song I'm going to call guitar rock. This is Crossroads by Robert Johnson. Listen for the call and repeat. The key here is that the guitar is more than just an instrument. It's almost a singer in the song. What a great song to start us off with.
Everybody pass me by. This song's going down, boy. Don't go catch me Boy, don't go catch me
It's hard to believe that we can get guitar rock from country music, but we in fact did. Way back in 1946, Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys released a song called Barnard's Blues. And Barnard's Blues features Lester Jr. Bernard, the guy that was Bob Wills' lead guitar player, playing something a little different, something a little bluesy, something a little guitar rocky. Listen to that guitar.
Oh, here's that
And
fat
this was
boy again.
Western swing music.
With them old Bernard blues this time. In fact, that's Junior Bernard playing it. I'll get it low, Junior, or else ride it high.
Pure blues, pure blues.
Women and children hollering, Willie, Willie. Dirty. Oh, killing me. Sour, quite sour, let the milk come down. Here's that boy Kelso.
Before there was such thing as guitar rock, heck, before there was such thing as rock and roll, we had Gory Carter, the then 18-year-old man from Houston, Texas, who recorded Rock-A-While. Some people think this has a better claim to being the first rock and roll song even than Rocket 88, which is most often claimed to be the first rock and roll song. This is a classic style that you're going to hear echoes of in everybody that follows it. Gory Carter, Rock-A-While, 1949. You hear the jazz with the horns. That guitar is clearly a blues guitar. Again, this is early. People probably would have called this jazz at the time period, but clearly it's something different. This is the beginning of guitar rock.
Feeling good this morning, I feel like I wanna rock a while. Feeling good this morning, I feel like I wanna rock a while. Come on, boogie with me, baby, cause the stuff is still in style. Throw away my troubles and throw away my blues. Gonna throw away my troubles and throw away my blues. Got a letter from my baby who believe it's done good news.
One of the first guitar rock songs was also one of the first songs to be called rock and roll. It was recorded by Jackie Brenston, and it was recorded in 1951. The song was called Rocket 88, and though the band was uncredited on the original album, it was Ike Turner that organized the music and orchestrated all this. So you can feel Ike Turner all the way through this great song. This is Rocket 88, the original version of the song by Jackie Brenston. Interestingly enough, that guitar distortion you're hearing in there, they had broken the cone on the speaker, and he had shoved the speaker with paper
You women have heard of
to
July,
try
you heard the noise
and
they make, but let me
correct that
boost
problem.
my new Rocket
And in fact,
88.
what they invented
Yes,
was
it's
distortion.
straight, just one way. Everybody likes my Rocket 88. Baby, we'll ride in style, moving all along. V8 motor and this smart and designed, black convertible top, and the gals don't mind. Sporting with me, riding all around town for joy. Blow your horn, Raymond, blow.
When I think of guitar rock, I think of two things. I think of distortion and feedback. And these are two things that were experimented with in 1958 by Link Wray. Link Wray wrote the song Rumble. And Rumble was so controversial when it came out that it was banned from the radio because people were afraid that it was just too dangerous if people heard it. To get that distortion sound, at least according to legend, Link Wray took razor blades and cut the cone of his speaker to cause more of a vibration. Basically what he's doing is he's compressing the sound and you're losing the tops and the bottoms. That's a sound that had always been avoided by rock stars, not by Link Wray. He's going to take it all in and run with it. Link Wray, Rumble, 1958. By the way, one of the godfathers of punk rock, too. Love that deep guttural sound. Pure blues. If you think about guitar music, you almost always think about Chuck Berry. In 1958, Chuck Berry recorded and released his masterpiece, Johnny B. Goode. He strutted around the stage, dancing like a chicken while playing this guitar in a way that nobody had ever heard before. This is a man that influenced everyone from the Rolling Stones to The Who, all the way up into our modern bands. This is Johnny B. Goode from 1958 by Chuck Berry. Listen to those strings bent. They just took a basic blues beat and sped it up. It's just a shuffle.
Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the evergreens, there stood a log cabin made
Just
of
makes you want to move, doesn't it?
where lived a country boy named Johnny B. Goode, who never ever learned to read or write so well, but he could play a guitar just like a ring in a bell. Go, go!
That guitar.
Go, Johnny,
That's the key to guitar rock.
Go, Johnny, go, go! Go, Johnny,
Man, he could play a lead.
Go, go Johnny, go, go! Johnny B. Goode. He used to carry his guitar in a gunny sack, go sit beneath the tree by the railroad track, gold engine, everything sitting in the shade, strumming with the rhythm that the drivers made. When people passing by, they would stop and say, oh my, but that little country boy could play. Go, go! Go, Johnny, go, go! Go,
1965, from England, we got a bit of a guitar shakeup. The Rolling Stones came down with the Keith Richards classic, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Let's listen to a little bit of Satisfaction. That opening guitar riff. Song is still pertinent today. I feel like this could have been written yesterday and it would have gotten played on the radio. Timeless. When you're talking about guitar rock, you can't forget the little band from Texas, ZZ Top. This trio put out a heavy guitar, blues-based rock and roll. And while I could have picked any number of songs to play on this one, I chose Jesus Just Left Chicago. Jesus Just Left Chicago by ZZ Top came out in 1973 and blew the world away. Now, it was covered later on by a band called Fish, but to me, nothing's better than the original cover by ZZ Top. Jesus Just Left Chicago, ZZ Top. Right into the guitar. Simple blues riff. What a great voice. ZZ Top is kind of derivative of John Lee Hooker. Interestingly, ZZ Top never claimed to be a blues band. They always said they were a rock and roll band influenced by the blues. Pure rock and roll.
Hey.
In the 1970s, disco music was everywhere. But disco couldn't kill rock and roll, and one man is going to prove that. His name was Peter Frampton. Peter Frampton had a gift with a guitar. Using a guitar and a talk box, Peter Frampton could make his guitar speak directly to the listener. And in this song, recorded and released in 1975, although it charted highest in 1976, Peter Frampton puts his guitar rock mastery on full display. This is Peter Frampton, Show Me the Way from 1975. It's a live recording. Again, this is guitar and a talk box. This song was everywhere. Peter Frampton brought women to rock concerts in a time period when guitar rock was really more male-dominated.
You're living on your nerve when someone drops a cup and I submerge. I'm swimming in a circle. I feel I'm going down. There has to be a fall to play my part. But someone thought of me.
Before he was the darling of the right or a big bow hunter, Ted Nugent was a master guitar phenomenon. Whether it be with his self-named band, Ted Nugent, or with Damn Yankees, where he served as the lead guitarist, Ted Nugent always provided a great lead guitar. Now, to me, nothing screams the Nuge in guitar rock better than 1977's Cat Scratch Fever. This was covered by Motorhead a little later on, and they did a great recording. But nothing beats Ted Nugent's 1977 hit, Cat Scratch Fever. Opens up right with that lead guitar. Again, you'll hear there's a call and repeat between the guitar and the chorus. Ted Nugent's not singing, although he does on some songs. On this one, he's the guitarist. simple lyrics, almost reminiscent of the innocence of the 60s. The song still holds up. In 1981, guitar music was everywhere, and so was Billy Squier. Billy Squier released his biggest hit, and probably his last real big hit. The song was called The Stroke. Let's listen to Billy Squier with his guitar rock masterpiece, The Stroke. What a soaring vocal.
Have you heard? If you're in the game, then the stroke's the word.
Listen to that guitar.
Don't take no rhythm, don't take no style. Got a thirst for killing, crack your fire.
I can remember dancing to this junior high dances.
Keep it all in place. Work your way right into my face. First you try to bend me, you make my backbone slide. But when you find you bled me, skip on by, keep on. Stop it. Give me the business all night long. Stop it. Stop it. Stop.
In 1983, guitar virtuoso Stevie Ray Vaughan released the studio album Texas Flood, and every song on it was a masterpiece. But his big hit was Pride and Joy. And to me, if you're looking for a blues-based guitar legend, there was never anyone better than Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan unfortunately died entirely too young. I believe he was 27 years old, another member of the 27 Club, when he died in a terrible, terrible helicopter crash. This is Pride and Joy, Stevie Ray Vaughan. You could completely lose the vocals, and this trio has a good solid sound. The groove between the guitar, the rhythm, and the drums it's almost ZZ Top in feel.
Well, you've heard about love and giving sight to the blind. My baby loving cause the sun to shine. And she
Pure
must be a
blues.
little thing.
They just took the blues, plugged it in, turned it up
She
to
my
11.
pride and joy. She my sweet little baby. I'm a little lover boy.
Brothers and sisters, this is what rock and roll is about.
Yeah, I love my baby, my heart and soul. Love like eyes I won't never grow. She's my sweet little thing. She's my pride and joy. She's my sweet little baby. I'm a little lover boy. Yeah, I love my Lenny. She's long and lean. You mess with her, you see a man get mean. She's my sweet little thing. She's my pride and joy. She's my sweet little baby. I'm a little lover boy. Well, I love my baby like the finest wine. Stick with her until the end of time. She's my sweet little thing. She's my pride and joy. She's my sweet little baby. I'm a little lover boy. Yeah, I love my baby, my heart and soul. Love like eyes I won't never grow. She's my sweet little thing. She's my pride and joy. She's my sweet little baby. I'm a little lover boy.
When you talk about guitar rock, one of the things that people think about is shredding. That's this ability to just play tons and tons of notes in a very, very quick manner. And while, to be honest, it's never been my style, there's something to respect about it. And the greatest of the shredders isn't an Eddie Van Halen, although I love Eddie Van Halen. It's not an Eric Clapton, although I love Eric Clapton. It's Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen, on his first studio album, released the song Rising Force. This song came out in 1984. Yngwie Malmsteen, Rising Force. Kind of an ominous beginning. You can hear that kind of almost like gospel sound in the background. percussion opening. And there he goes. Yngwie is going to inspire everyone. You couldn't have modern metal if you didn't have Yngwie.
Out of the darkness, the voices are calling, riding the wings of a song. The fury is screaming and heaven is falling. I feel it coming on strong. The lightning strikes, crack in the night. It feels like never before. Thunder and spark in the heart of the dawn. I hear a rising voice. Searching my soul now, I find something else. I take my life in my hands. Through the gates of heaven to the altars of hell. The power is at my command. The lightning strikes, crack in the night. It feels like never before. Thunder and spark in the heart of the dawn. I feel a rising force. Oh!
Among all the great guitarists of the 1980s, probably the most influential was a guy named Slash. Slash was the guitarist for Guns N' Roses. And with his over-the-top look, with that top hat and the big hair that he had, merged with the sound of that guitar, in 1987 they took the world by storm with the great album Appetite for Destruction. Appetite was everywhere. It was a dirty rock and roll. It was a kind of a way of turning your back on glam rock and hair metal and going back to the roots. Kind of reminiscent of biker rock. Steppenwolf meets the Rolling Stones, all shoved together with a heavy influence of blues in there. This is Welcome to the Jungle with one of the best guitar parts of any song in history. 1987, Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. Listen to that opening. You hear that and you immediately know what's coming. Pair that with Axl Rose's soaring vocals and you have guitar rock par excellence. Makes me think of high school. One of the best driving songs ever. Listen to that strong percussion in the background, that groove. It's electric blues, it's guitar rock, it's rock and roll. Way back in 1936, Robert Johnson recorded Sweet Home Chicago, and he established that song as a blues standard that everyone would have to cover. If you wanted to be a blues star, you had to do Crossroad Blues and you had to do Sweet Home Chicago. The song kind of got a second life in the 1970s and early 80s with the Blues Brothers. But Eric Clapton does his own version of it. And when we talk about guitar rock, we have to talk about Eric Clapton. The man is a prodigy. The man was in every decade from the 60s right up to the modern era, whether it be the Yardbirds or Derek and the Dominoes or just his solo career or any number of other great bands. Eric Clapton is always there. This is a live version of Sweet Home Chicago from 2004 from the Sessions for Robert Johnson show. Eric Clapton, Sweet Home Chicago.
Do you need more of that? Can you put more, more hi-hat in that?
There's something about live blues that just
More?
touches me.
More?
It's really just a jam session here. Listen to that guitar. That honky-tonk piano backing it up.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Eric Clapton's nickname was Slowhand. He didn't try and play a lot of notes. He tried to play as few notes as he could, but played them so well that the emotion would strike you.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go?
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back from Atlanta, California, to my sweet home, Chicago. Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back from the land of California to my sweet home, Chicago. Two and two is four, baby. 4 and 2 is 8. Come on now, darling. Don't you gonna make me late? I'm trying, please. Baby, don't you wanna go? Back from Atlanta, California to my sweet home, Chicago. One and one and two, 2 and 2 is 4. I'm heavy loaded. I'm looking, I gotta go. I'm crying, please. Baby, don't you wanna go? Back from Atlanta.
One of those great guitar legends that seems to come back again and again and again in every decade is Jeff Beck. And unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to get licensing for Jeff Beck music, and they block us sometimes. We're going to give it a shot here. This is a live recording from 2011 of Jeff Beck covering Little Wing. He does it in honor of Jimi Hendrix. Little Wing, of course, was a song that was made famous by Stevie Ray Vaughan, but this is Jeff Beck's version. Little Wing from 2011 live.
I saw Jimmy here, and just gonna pay a little tribute to him.
Since we couldn't play Jimi Hendrix, it was blocked the first time I put this up. I thought maybe we could get by with Jeff Beck doing it. This is a prime example of slow hand blues. He's not trying to play a bunch of notes. He's just playing a few notes, crisp, clear, and telling a story with his guitar.
Well, she's walking through the clouds with a circus mind that's running wild. Butterflies and zebras and moonbeams and fairy tales. That's all she thinks about. And floating with the wind. When I'm sad, she comes to me with 1,000 smiles. She gives to me free. It's alright, she says, it's alright. Take anything you want from me.